All right, we are ready to tackle the letter N. Now, if you've seen the letter M, the letter N is going to be a piece of cake. If you haven't done M yet, that's right, the N's going to present a little bit of a new challenge for you. Keep an eye in your guide sheet, look at that, and of course, that's what we're trying to imitate. I'm going to draw this diagram at the top because this will come to bear in this letter just as it does in all of our angle letters. Let me write this down. Angle letters, which are essentially the A, M, N, V, W, X, and Z. X and Z are a little bit not so difficult, but those five are special challenges. We begin the letter N by holding our pen at a number 4 position. That's my system of discerning different angles in the calligraphy, and coming down to about the number 8 position on a clock. Now, the first downstroke, the first vertical stem of the letter N gets a little tricky. We are going to, this is angle number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to hold our pen at almost a perfectly vertical, almost. Maybe not quite. If it was literally perfectly vertical, our calligraphy pen would make a very, very, very thin line, and a little bit too thin. So we're going to hold that at about 1.3 if you want to get really mathematical about it. Just almost vertical, enough so it's just a little bit heavier than that, and it's a perfectly straight line all the way down to the base, and then kicks out a foot to the left. And as you notice, that foot is much thicker. Like when we hold our pen in the normal position, that foot is very thin. You see that? But holding it in this position, that foot ends up being fat. Let it work. That's the way your pen works. Calligraphy is supposed to be a natural flowing manifestation of the shape of your pen. Now, the diagonal in the letter N is very easy. You hold it in a typical 3.5 position, straight all the way down to the baseline, and that's it. This does not kick out, as so many of our other letters do. In the letter N, there is no kick out at the bottom of that stroke. Now, the next vertical is also held at exactly the same angle as our first vertical. We want these two lines to be the same thickness. So it's, again, what I'm sort of jokingly calling a 1.3. I don't really know if it's 1.3, but a little bit just off vertical so we get the right thickness. And it's a straight line and comes down and meets that right there. Here's an interesting thing about the letter N in most calligraphy, that this bottom corner right here is perfectly plain. It's unusual in the Chancery cursive text. Now, there's one piece of this N that is missing, and it's the flag at the top. If you can do this stroke with one stroke, like this, pushing the pen uphill and then coming down, be my guest, do that. You understand that pushing the pen is cheating a little bit, but if you can get away with it, do it. I would recommend in the initial stages, if you're just getting started in calligraphy, don't even try that. Do it the right way, the proper way, the purest way, and that is do your vertical stroke like that, and then come back and add the flag later. Now, just as in the end of the letter M, we have an option here. We can make this flag go above the top of the capital letters like that, and that's perfectly legal. There may be times when you're doing calligraphy that it doesn't serve you as well. Perhaps there's a line of type up here, and maybe there's a Y down in it. It'll get too close. So you can make adjustments, like just say, well, I'm just going to make it regular height this time, and that's perfectly legal. We'll talk about that kind of thing when we talk about creatively employing all of these letters to make a piece of beauty. We'll talk about making lines of type fit together. That's the capital N. Now let's do the lowercase n. Pretty simple. Start holding the pen in the normal 3.5 position. We do the stem, the initial shaft of the letter N, and then we have to do this thing. If you saw the letter M, you know what I'm talking about. You make your pen stand on its hind legs or pop a little wheelie on the uphill stroke. So the only part of the pen that's touching the paper is the corner of the pen that's closest to you. It's real easy to do with pencil. That's part of the reason why I have you start out with pencil. But only that corner, and then it comes up here to the top, lays back down in a traditional 3.5 angle for the last downstroke, and then a little foot off to the left. Oh, that's a beautiful N. I like that one right there. Let's go to the felt tip marker now. A little bit more challenging as it gets smaller. The felt tip is nice because you can stick it in your pocket, take it with you, practice everywhere if you have like wedding invitations or something where you have to do hundreds and hundreds, yeah, go ahead and use a felt tip marker, but it's good for practice. Let's do then the capital N, starting with my pen in a number 4 angle position, doing that initial curve. Can I say this? I've said it a few times on some of my other letters. So I want to make sure that when you do this initial curve, that you don't start going downhill right away. See, this is, in my opinion, not a pleasant mark. It's much prettier looking if you make it start out horizontal and then curve down, okay? Then the downstroke is I'm holding my pen at about a 1 point something angle, come straight down all the way to the baseline, then kick out to the left. The next stroke, straight all the way to the baseline. The final stroke, also holding my pen at this number 1.3 position, roughly speaking. Come down and meet the corner, and then add the flag. There you go. That's a nice N. Well, this foot down here isn't so pretty, is it? Okay, so I take that back. If I were practicing at home, I'd say, dang, I got to do that one again. That's an exact quote. Dang, I got to do that one again. Now let's do a lowercase n. Pretty simple. A downstroke parallel to my italics angle, and then I make my pen pop a little wheelie, stand on its hind legs, just that one corner touching up to the top, and then the next downstroke. And by the way, just for what it's worth, you probably noticed this already, that the little kick out foot that I do, the connector to the next letter, also is the pen popping a little wheelie. Does that make sense? Because you want this to be nice and thin. Now, I've already said then, what if this is connecting to the next letter? The answer is, of course, you just make this letter go, this little kick out foot go at the right angle to connect to the next letter. What if the letter N is the last letter in a line of type? Very predictable. You have a couple options. You either take that foot and make it do a nice little S curve, or a big curve, or a great big curly Q, depending on how extravagant you're feeling. Let's move down now to the dip pen. I always, as you probably know, I have a piece of paper where I can get my pen to behave properly. Make sure that it's working the way I want, releasing just the right amount of ink. And let's do that capital N at least one more time. So holding my pen in number 4 angle, starting out straight and then coming down. You see, starting out straight. Don't do this. Make sure it starts out horizontal. And then this weird angle, I hold my pen at about a 1.3, come all the way down to the baseline. Second stroke is very easy because I'm holding my pen in the traditional angle. Comes no foot, no kick out at the bottom, just straight down. Then the third stem is also holding my pen at that strange angle, and then add a flag at the top. Let's do a lowercase n and we'll be done with this letter. It starts out so innocently, so nicely. Oh yeah, we've done this before, and then it gets a little bit tricky. We make it go up on its one corner, turn a curve, and come down straight, and then kick out. You got it? I have a feeling that you're doing great. We're making good progress. Let's keep going.